Hey, Cmax here. Welcome to video number 6 in the What to Why to reloading series. Reloading series for the new or non-reloader. We just got done talking about powder, and now we're going to talk about reloading manuals in general. And just some pointers and kind of what you need to get out of them, and kind of funny things about reading them. One thing about reloading manuals, you can see here, and very apparent in these three. This is the Speer Bullet Reloading Manual number 14. This is a Speer Reloading Manual number 10. This is a Hornady Reloading Manual. Now, all three of these are bullet manufacturers. So these tend to have data specific for their bullets. Okay. So with the new reloader, that's very frustrating. What if I don't have Hornady bullets? What if I've just got some plated ones? Just for your information, plated bullets, you're supposed to use the same load data as cast bullets or just lead bullets. So, in this particular instance, we've got a 158 grain, perfect, lead bullet. And if you'll notice here we go again, we've got powders, fastest to slowest. Okay, so you've got normal red dot. I've got red dot. In fact, it's probably the most my most common powder that I load pistol calibers with. And then you can see across the top here, feet per second. And then these last ones are don't ever exceed kind of load data requirements. Now, on this particular bullet, they're telling you that the bullet itself has a diameter of 0.358. As the cartridge has an overall length of 1.475. That is with the bullet in it and everything. You want the bullet and everything once it's seated to be no longer than 1.475. Also, something else that you can generally look at here, and let's just take 750 feet per second. The faster powder, 3.1 grains, is their max load. Okay, high scores 3.1, 3.2, 3.7, 4, 4.2, 4.9, 5.2, and then all the way down to Winchester 630 powder, 6.9. So if you notice there, the faster powder, faster burn rate powder needs less powder per charge. Okay, that's a trend that you're going to notice throughout. Now let's jump over here to the 357 Magnum, and here's the same bullet, 158 grain lead round nose. Different bullets. Different powders here. I don't see red dot. I do see green dot. And then you've got your feet per second. Due to the case being longer, you have a longer overall length for the cartridge. Okay. Now, here again, though, you start off, let's see, SR 7625, 4.9. When you get down to HX6, they're at 7 grains. So there again, even though these are more magnum powders or slower burning powders, the slower, the more. Okay? You're going to see that over and over again, and that's basically how you read that. Now, another thing that really freaked me out when I first started, and let's go back here and look. All right, let's look at another thing that kind of I had backwards when I first started. I was thinking smaller or lighter weight bullet needs less powder to achieve a certain velocity feet per second. Well, it's actually backwards. Let's look at this. Let's look at this 115 grain bullet.
at 1,000 feet per second with unique needs 4.9 grains of powder, of unique powder. Now let's look at the 124 grain. Go over to the third column. For 1,000 feet per second, it's 4.4. So that's a difference of 0.5. It needs 0.5 grains less powder to achieve the same feet per second. Now, why is that? All right. The reason being is the heavier bullet can't be any fatter. So if it weighs more, it has to be longer. Now, remember that the case and the bullet together can only be a maximum length of, a certain maximum length to get it to function in the, magazines, chambers, what have you. So that means that a longer bullet has to go down inside the case more. Well, what that's going to do is that's going to reduce the volume or space inside the case to create the pressure. Now, remember, it's not an explosion that does this. It's the powder burning very fast, creating pressure through gas expansion. So you have less area in there to create that gas expansion. You need less powder to achieve that same velocity. That was something that took me a little bit of time to get my head around, but wanted to point that out to you as well.
Other sources of reloading would be basically powder manufacturers. Alliant, here's, of course, that's going to be information based on their powders, just like the bullet people, based on their bullets. Western Powders, and a lot of them, like this is a free guide. This is a free guide. Whenever you get a chance, even if you don't, particularly, I don't have any Western Powders, but I still want the reloading guide. Why would I want that? It's because when you're in some of these books and you see, you're going to learn after looking at these things over and over and over again, you're going to start to be able to interpret, okay, all right, their powder, their ram shot or whatever it may be is this and this range, and it compares to the Alliant powder, this and this range. It's all going to start to come together, and you're going to be able to kind of cross-reference and get starting information. So, and you never know where you're going to find the data from. This is a book I got at the NRA show, and it's reloading accessories for RCBS, Alliant powders in this group, Spear. But you think it's just a catalog. Well, it's not. It's got load data in it too. So get all the load data that you can is my advice. Now, what should you start out with? My advice, so that you have a more broad application of powders and bullets, I would recommend Lyman, because they don't make bullets. They make about everything else. In the Lee book, they're going to give you more across the board stuff, and it's going to be less specific based on brand of powder or brand of bullet. And what's going to happen eventually as you progress as a reloader and you get a chronograph, and we'll talk about that later, is you make your own data. Isn't that interesting? Here's some of the data that my handwritten stuff that I did when I was developing the loads originally. And that brings another point of view up, that you want to start and say, okay, I'm going to load 10 rounds of 3.6 grains, then go up 0.2, 3.8, 4.0, 4.2, whatever the case may be, especially before you have a chronograph, because you're going to have to pay attention to recoil, functionality of a semi-auto, things of this nature, so you're going to kind of have to compare, since you don't have any velocity data to compare with as well. Let me go back in the Lyman here, and let's just look at the book itself and see what else we can take out of the book that I want to mention. One thing, it's going to be based on a certain gun, because barrel length affects velocities, so it has to be all consistent. So was this shot out of a 4-inch barrel, a 5-inch barrel? A revolver based on a semi-auto. The revolver loses some pressure between the cylinder and the barrel. There's just lots of factors. So you just want to try to be as consistent as you can. And that's why none of this is 100%. It's just kind of a guide, okay? Well, the first section that you get here is the dimensions of everything, okay? Dimensions of the case, the base, at the throat here, the bullet with a round nose, all the different cuts, what their dimensions are. It's always a good idea to read this first section because it's gonna give you good information. For example, Alliance Bullseye, Winchester 231, and Alliance Unique are very good popular propellants for this cartridge. With any handgun cartridge, it's important not to seat the bullets to a shorter length than specified in the data. That's because of what we just spoke about. This is especially important with 9mm loads. Pressures can be raised dramatically with the deep seating. Now, why would that be? It's because a 9mm cartridge is very short. So when you start putting it in further than it's supposed to be, you dramatically change the amount of volume in that case for the pressures. Okay, pretty simple. Here we go. Firearm used, universal receiver, barrel length 4-inch. Groove diameter, these were based on .355, not a .356 barrel. Okay. So read your first section, look through them. You've got your OAL, so that's what you're wanting from the base of the cartridge to the tip of the bullet. Okay. The max would be 1.169. So no matter what bullets you have, you shouldn't be any longer than that. You're going to have feed problems, magazine problems, and things like that if your overall cartridge, after it's seated, crimped, everything ready to go, is longer than that. So you got to get calipers, and we'll get into that later. So read your books. Just about every reloading handbook actually goes through and teaches you how to reload. And all of them have an instruction manual that's going to teach you how to reload. Okay? They're going to teach you how to read the book as well, but they're also going to teach you reloading. Steps you go through, common problems with cases, see the splits in them. So, read your books. You do need to do a lot of reading. Keep it in the bathroom for a while. Great place to read. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks a lot, and y'all have a great day.